introduction. And
great. Well, I wanted to welcome everybody to the meeting today. My name is Paul Bird. I'm an Azure TSP, formerly on Naveed's team before he left us. Anyway, nobody's laughing.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm a few minutes
I'm still
late.
here.
But anyway, I wanted to share with you all today some stuff about Azure Monitor, some new things that we just released in January, and some changes to the product as a whole, and some changes around Azure as well. So there's, I like to say with my clients, the best thing about being in the cloud is you always get the latest and greatest stuff, and the worst thing about being in the cloud is there's always something new and changes every time you open the portal. That's some cool stuff because of the speed in which we're developing and moving forward with everything around Azure and everything, the investments that we're making, not just with the portal and everything itself, but with applications and stuff as well. One of the new things in the Azure portal is the home screen versus the dashboard. So you used to configure dashboards, and then whatever you opened in, you can just open directly to a dashboard of your choosing or to the home screen. Now we've kind of separated those out. You still have the choice to open a home screen or a dashboard, but the home screen has a lot more contextual base to it. But I want to show you this dashboard that our team up in Redmond has made for monitoring and analytics. Just to show you the power of what we're doing in dashboarding and around Azure Monitor now. As some of you know, most of you know, OMS is now fully, as of January, is fully deprecated. Unfortunately, you'll still see some references to OMS around the portal as you surf around to different things. And to make things even more confusing, we've just announced some new name changes to some of the old pieces of OMS and around Azure Monitor as well, to kind of give a more what we think is a more descriptive piece of information around what the services are and what they're for and what they do, with the introduction of metrics and the alerting and viewing of metrics and how we have incorporated that into Azure Monitor. Then it just kind of made sense to redefine log analytics as it pertains to Azure Monitor and whatnot. So the first thing I want to point out is now all of a sudden over here, if you have it pinned, or if you're looking for log analytics and the search up here at the top or anything else like that, it's going to say log analytics workspaces now, because log analytics has been changed to the name of, you have Metrics Explorer, Metrics Analytics now, and log analytics is actually a descriptive word of actually analyzing logs. So therefore, now in the Azure Monitor workspace, which I'll open in just a moment, you'll see that log analytics is actually analyzing log metrics. Analytics, or Metrics Explorer, is analyzing metrics. Real quick, just to surf around this dashboard, you can see on the dashboard now we have some blank spaces that you can make to where you can title sections of your dashboard. That's not necessarily a new feature, but it's one that people don't really use a whole lot. And then you can divide your dashboard up into different sections, like we have here, to manage workspaces, which is another thing that is brand new and expanded as of January to include VMs and not just application mapping. So let's go take a look at some of that stuff. And my portal's going to be slow today because I'm butted up to another meeting, and I'm on my phone as internet access here, so I apologize in advance. But anyway, just going over in an Azure Monitor portal here, you have the overview section, of course, as always, where you can get started, tutorials and demos. I want to always point that out, that this is very helpful. these Pluralsight courses here, Microsoft spent a lot of money paying Pluralsight to allow all of these courses to be free. So the Kusto query language is a very good course. I've started it, haven't completed it yet, but it's a very good course to explain Kusto query language and how to get the most out of your log searches and metric searches out of the query engine that is in that we use for analyzing logs, right? If you see up here, it no longer says log analytics, it says logs and metrics. So this is actually where we're going to go to look at metrics and look at logs. Here real time. If I was on a faster connection, I could actually show you, but it's very simple to come in here. This is, of course, a redesign to find resources and whatnot as far as your metrics dashboard here. Logs goes out back into the old log workspace. If I want to select a metrics here and look at a skill set resource group, and just going to look at skill set 1 for my VMs. I'm going to apply. So automatic default time frame is for the last 24 hours. If I change this to last 30 minutes, we can really kind of see what we're doing here. And look, this disk isn't even running, but I have even a ... out here, which is looking at what's happening right now. And if I refresh across the board, then you can see it actually moved here, because now I'm going down to the minute here on this dashboard. So what's the plus in this? Well, a lot of people have complained, historically, that log analytics isn't, quote unquote, real time. And we're getting a lot closer to that with log analytics, but we also have, reporting lags from different pieces, especially if you have some on-premise machines that you're shipping logs up to the cloud. They have to get there, they have to get in storage, and we have to parse those logs before we can give you information on them, right? But the metrics, especially out of Azure virtual machines and whatnot, this is near real time. And then, of course, you can always create an alert rule off of metrics as well. So you saw a sampling of some of the things that we can get off of disks and metrics. So creating alert rules out of metrics is very easy. It's the same experience across creating alerts out of all of Azure across the board, and with alerting groups and whatnot. Once again, SMS, robocalls, course email, ITSM integrations, other things, all out of that. I also want to bring up here this pin to dashboard. This is always here, but you can even create a new dashboard out of this. Look, so real time, my whole scale just moved. You can create a new dashboard out of this and pin this to it. There's a few things that's changed in the log analytics workspace as well. I do not want to create a new one. And this more piece used to take you to the log analytics workspace, but now it doesn't. This actually takes you to the management solutions. Well, I'm going to announce another name change. They're no longer called management solutions. They're called monitoring solutions now. The whole management solutions piece came out of the whole management solutions piece came out of management packs, which were native to SCOM. So we created management solutions in our quote unquote OMS so that you could have some familiarity there. But now we just call them monitoring solutions instead of management solutions. That's one of the new name changes. Here we go. And this is your overview for what you used to see in the OMS portal with all of your different solutions that come up here that you have added to the piece. Of course, all of these change what logs you ingest off of your workloads. So you need to be careful when you're adding management solutions, as always, and watch your ingestion rates. Now that the pricing model is purely on ingestion, you get 5 free gigabytes per month, $2.30 per gig of ingested logs after that. To show you that link. So if we go back to monitor here, I want to show you another relatively new setting, and monitor is diagnostic settings over here. So classically, if you added a resource and you wanted to add your diagnostic logs to log analytics or to event hubs or wherever you wanted to add those to get those diagnostic logs and ingest them into your favorite SIM tool or whatever, you would have to go to that individual resource, and then you'd have to set up the diagnostic logs on that resource. And if you wanted to know if you were even getting logs from that resource, you would have to go to that resource once again and see if that was enabled. Well, now in the new diagnostic settings workspace, all you have to do is come in here and select here. And you can see all of your resources in a resource group. You can filter by resource type as well, and even by resource. But you can see right now that my diagnostic settings are enabled on these and disabled on these others. If I wanted to enable these, then all I have to do is click here, and it'll take me directly to the diagnostic logs of that resource, and I can turn them on and set the settings here, whether I wanted to send them to event hubs, to an Azure storage account, or directly into a log analytics workspace, which I could choose from here to do more with, as always, and what logs and metrics that I wanted to send from that Azure resource as well. Another new feature as of December in the Azure Monitor workspace is auto scale. And what does this really mean to me? If I have an application, I could automatically set auto scale in that application. If I had a VM scale set, I could set some auto scale, horizontal scaling or vertical scaling from that. Here, I can adjust horizontal scaling to an application or a function or a VM scale set right here from my log analytics workspace. So when I come in here, then I can enable auto scaling for this Azure function here. And now I can also set multiple scale conditions on that Azure function, and I can set it based on metrics or a specific instance count. I can set my instance limits, minimum, maximum, default here, and then I can add my rules for my auto scale out or scale in, either way, for my application right here. So I just pick my criteria, my metric name that I want to choose, since I choose metrics based on metrics over here. My time is average greater than threshold, duration, and increase count by, increase percent by, or decrease. So auto scaling set right here in Azure Monitor directly off of that. Why is this helpful? It's a single pane of glass for your workloads here. you're actually seeing the metrics in the Azure Monitor here, and you're wanting to set some scaling rules because you can see that an application or a VM scale set is suffering because of its settings. And being able to set this out of the Azure Monitor portal is something brand new and something that we've been really working on. So I also wanted to take a look at the virtual machines just to show you workbooks really quick. So what are workbooks? Workbooks are a new thing that we just added not too long ago that lets you actually take a look at your holistic of an application if you choose application insights, or of a VM if you choose VMs. So if I'm looking at my workspace, let me change this because I don't have anything in there.
Paul,
yes.
If towards the end you want to talk about the pricing changes, that will be really good.
Okay, certainly.
Thanks.
No problem. This is not helping me. Here, I've got some data now. All right, cool. So if you see this new link over here, it says View Workbooks. This is new to the VM Insights and in Application Insights as well. If you were on an application itself that was running, I want to open this up here, and it's going to take me into a new blade. And we have a default view for each different individual application type or VM type that we're doing here. We also have customizable templates that you can save if you want to create your own workbooks for your dashboards and for export. Then you can save those templates for your workbooks here to where you can get the data that you want to see about that workload, whether it's the VM or the application. And then, of course, pin it directly to a dashboard to create a new dashboard. So you can see I have my quick start default template, or I can have a completely empty template. Recently modified workbooks that I've created that I can use, or here's a network dependency workbook or performance analysis workbook that I can try. And then I have a lot of options here. If I'm doing performance analysis, this is all loading. You can see all of the circles running up here. But on limited time and my terrible connection, I don't want to let this go too long. But anyway, pinning this to a dashboard is very easy and is a way that you can help make a dashboard, like I showed you at the beginning of the talk about the monitoring analytics piece at first, right? This continues to pull up. And here's where I can pin it to a dashboard. Also make this a favorite. And save it, save as, tag it, whatever I want to do. And you can see it's very nice, the amount of data that you get. And this is just a template out of the box, right? And of course, you can drill down into any of this as you're going around here, even once after you pin it to a dashboard. Those are the main things that I wanted to go over: the diagnostic settings, the auto scale that's added here in the blade, the name changes for logs, log analytics, and for metrics, being able to alert out of metrics, that's very helpful. This can take you straight into alerts as well. And that the more takes you into your log analytics workspace for your newly name changed monitoring solutions and not management solutions anymore. And then I wanted to go over the workbooks and the changes that were done there. So a quick overview on pricing. So back last April, April the 4th is when we announced that OMS pricing at the time and the whole breakout of pricing for that was going to change. At the end of June was the last time a new customer could actually purchase an OMS license, because OMS stood for Operations Management Suite. And what that was is like saying System Center, right? It was a suite of tools that came together under a SKU. That's all OMS ever was, really, is a SKU. So that included log analytics, Azure automation, security and compliance, and backup and DR. Well, all of those things are a la carte now, because we found that most of our customers were buying OMS SKUs and then not using all of the pieces of the SKU, and therefore wasting money. So log analytics is still the base, outside of metrics, it's still the base for collecting logs, syslogs from Linux VMs, custom logs out of your own JSON templates that you can create, any kind of logs that are created and put into log analytics that also are sliced and diced by Azure Security Center, is based out of log analytics as well. All of that still stays in log analytics. Your first 5 gigabytes of ingested data per month is free. After that, it's $2.30 per gigabyte. And then that gives you at the standard rate 31 days of retention. If you want to extend that, you can extend that with a slider very easily to the tune of 10 cents per gigabyte per month. That's very simplified. Application Insights has an additional cost to it if you're going to use that. And Security Center has an additional cost to it, if you want to use that, which I highly suggest. If you're running things in Azure, you should be using Security Center. Not only does Security Center help you out with advisory level things, it also adds machine learning and AI to your workloads and your logs that it's ingesting to create suggestions based on security risks and incidents.
I do have a question around Security Center standard pricing.
Yep.
So I'm playing with that. It does not give me an option to select which VMs I want the standard to apply to. It's all or nothing. Is that right?
Yeah, if you're using Security Center and you're ingesting logs into log analytics, and you attach Security Center to that workspace, then you're going to have to pay for every VM that you have attached to that workspace.
Okay, because I have a customer who's like, they're doing one subscription model for everything, but we don't want to pay for the dev and QA VMs. So we only want to basically cover the production VMs. So it looks like there's no option with that in the same subscription, right?
Not if it's in the same workspace in the same subscription.
Okay.
Most people, by Azure best practices, put their dev and QA in different subscriptions. It must be a small customer.
No, the spend right now is 1.2 million, and somehow Microsoft convinced them one subscription model was the best for them.
Oh, okay. It wasn't me.
I try to talk about it, but now they look back and go, "You're right, Tony."
Yeah. We only have about 3 minutes left. Are there any other questions or anything else that I could tell you about what's new in Azure Monitor?
A lot of changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes, and a lot of the changes are, like I said, semantic. A bunch of name changes and stuff. And being that we just deprecated OMS in January, and now we've got a whole list of new changes. Not only do you have to forget everything you ever knew about OMS, but you have to learn some new names for different things as well. And they're subtle changes. Monitoring versus management. Solutions, and how we define log analytics. It's supposed to make more sense, but it just turns out being confusing by the time you learn one thing. But this is with the direction we've gone, and congratulations. Here it is.
Now, how stable is this, this new platform or this new, this feature set? Because right now, basically, we have built a lot of stuff around the OMS stuff for monitoring operations. So now we're looking to revamp everything to this. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, a year from now, things going to change again, or is this going to be more of 2 or 3 years type?
No, this is the long-term strategy where we began pulling everything in under Azure Monitor versus the whole OMS idea, right? And ASR and backup are their own solutions now. Security Center is its own solution as well, but still based on log analytics. Log analytics is our SIM, and that's going to be the basis. Outside of metrics, of course, the log analytics is going to be our basis for everything. So we didn't really change a lot of log analytics was still part of OMS. From the beginning. It's been that solutions on top of log analytics, views and whatnot on top of log analytics is still there. This is the thing moving forward. The whole insights section. There could be some changes coming to insights and the way we do this, but these things here, Azure Monitor is going to be our hub for all things monitoring in Azure.
Cool. And also for the virtual machine, when would that be GA?
They haven't told us.
Okay.
And I know it just came out in preview around Ignite time in September.
Right.
So generally 6 to 9 months is a general kind of, we try to get it GA in that period.
Okay. The security people don't like the word preview.
Yeah, they don't. But everything in preview in Azure, that just means it's a fully functioning product. It just means that there could be some changes to the functionality of it without warning, and support is best effort. And those are the two big things about the word preview in Azure. And so therefore, we also don't suggest that people hang their hat on it in a production environment, because it is quote unquote preview, and it can change, right? So you don't want to set up your whole entire monitoring strategy on something that's preview, because if we change it, then you get really mad at us. Well, folks, I'm at a hard stop. So,
right, well, thank you for your time. That's awesome.
Thanks, everyone. I appreciate y'all being here today, and I hope that this was somewhat helpful.
Thank you. No, it's very helpful.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.